Well, I think.
bang me up.
Well, I think it. Well, I think it too. I think it too.
They would.
But I think it too depends on how long they've been here. I think it too depends on how long they've been here, right? Like I think somebody who is second generation, third generation, they're not talking about that much anymore unless you ask them. I think it all depends on how recent that is for them, and there's a way that they can take pride in that without actually. People come here to become white, and that doesn't mean that they don't honor like. Hey, my people came during the potato famine. I say that all the time. My people were Italian and they came and did whatever. That doesn't mean they don't honor that. But like the further you get away from like knowing the people who came and having some people back there, the less you rest on that. The more you see yourself as more and more American, the further along you get. And that's the objective. But go ahead. I'm sorry, fam.
Okay, well, how about this? Along those lines, I think one of our major problems is we don't really know who we are. You know?
Why?
We don't know the language.
What language do you need to know other than English? Like, I know Italians. I know a lot of Italians who don't speak Italian. Like, because they've been here too long.
Right, but hold on, Yvette. There are a lot of Europeans who can trace their ancestry. They can trace it all the way back to Vlad the Impaler. You know,
they don't anchor themselves in that. They don't walk around sad if they can't.
Collective amnesia.
We don't.
You understand what I'm saying?
No, I don't understand. Let me just say this. And I'm gonna let you finish. I don't understand what you're saying because I know there are a lot of people who don't even care to trace it back. Like if you go and talk to a 25-year-old whose great grandparents came here from Ireland, or somebody whose grandparents came here from Germany. Some of them might know and be like, oh my God, I hear they came from here, or whatever. They're not anchored in that though. They don't need to go to learn German to feel like they're somebody. They're American. And they're quick to tell you, I'm American. I have people who came here from da-da-da, but I'm American. They don't need to learn Italian to be American. And especially, like, we've been here 400 years. I'm talking about people that came way later than we did, have walked out of that. Nobody's going to tell you who is Italian, who's been here 4 or 5 generations, that, oh my gosh, I need to learn Italian to really connect to my stuff. I don't see that, and you don't need that. Like this idea that there's something missing. There is no missile puzzle piece for people who've been here as long as we've been here. We've been in America since before it was a country. We built the America that exists today. There is no missing puzzle piece that will just make us whole. You are whole. That's the only thing you need to realize.
I agree with that to a certain extent. I mean, I think that. If you like, let's say if you're a child and you don't know who your parents are.
But we do.
You know, you say, well, but hold on. Let's say if you were raised by adopted parents, right?
But we
weren't. They say, well, hey, we love you and we gave you everything you need. You don't really even need to know who your parents was because we took good care of you. The child would still say, yo, I need to know who my parents are. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but let me tell you. But let me tell you why that analogy. But let me just, I'm going to let you finish your point. But let me tell you why that analogy doesn't work. If we had just been sold over here, right? And like, I'm Yvette, and like, I never met my mother and father, and I need to know who those people are. Then that analogy makes sense because I don't know my mother and father. I know my mom and daddy. I know my great-grand. Like, I know my people. I don't need Africa to do that. They are not my parents. If you go over there, you're gonna be face to face with strangers who have a culture that you don't recognize, who have customs that you don't recognize. Those are not your parents. Your parents, your grandparents, or everybody is here. So you don't have a missing parent. Like if we had been sold over this generation, or even the last generation, then I would see your analogy make sense. We were sold over before this was a country. It's over.
Okay, so here's my question to you then. Why would they take that from us? Why would they take from us the knowledge of exactly who we are and what language we spoke? What country we came from? That vast history. There's a vast history of ADOS citizens that have been wiped out. It's not even known. Not to us. I mean, look, you got people who say different things. Everybody says, some people say we came over from a boat from Africa. Some people say, hey, we were already here.
I don't get into the feather talk. But let me just say this, and I'll let you go on this. It's not about, because I have some other calls to get to, so I'll let you go and I'll answer you off the call. But I appreciate you. What I'll say is that it's not about, and I think this is where people kind of get lost. right? It's not a, it's they didn't take you, they didn't rip African culture from you because it was so powerful. They ripped that from you because I need you to work right now. I don't need you to be thinking about none of this stuff. You're here now. I don't need you to be running around weeping, because if you got a slave, you need that slave. These are vicious people. They need you to work. They need you to get to work. They don't need you, and they don't need you speaking another language they don't understand so that you can plan some stuff and you speaking. No, you got to speak this language. They did some of this stuff isn't mystical. Some of this stuff white folk did because they had you here as a slave for a specific reason. That reason was to work. That reason was to do things. They didn't say, "Oh my God, this African culture is so powerful. I have to take it from them." No, you are here now. You will speak the language I give you. You will be obedient to me, because that's what it means to be in slavery. And the way I do that, when I get you here, is to break you into the culture. It doesn't have anything to do with the fact that, listen, if African culture was so powerful, they would have way more than they have in a lot of these countries. They wouldn't be overrun by the Chinese or the European, or they wouldn't be colonized. Like, if African culture and all that stuff and all that language and all that stuff was so powerful, they wouldn't be in the situation that they're in. Can't you see? Like, there is nothing powerful in that. There is nothing powerful in that. Anybody who enslaves you is going to come over here and say, "Listen, don't be talking that. You're going to talk this. This is your new name. I need you to understand you have a totally new life where you serve." That is some awful stuff, and that's some vicious stuff, but that is not anything mystical or powerful. You can go back right now and learn any kind of African language you want to learn, and it will not make you more connected to anybody. You will feel more lost than you felt before you did it, because you will realize that you don't fit in, and you're never going to fit in, and that boat has sailed. Listen, some bells cannot be unrung, and the bell that rang when slavery happened and we came over here, you cannot unring it, and ain't no language, ain't no culture, ain't no connection gonna ever change that for you. And the sooner you get that through your head, the sooner you can become American and love the people who love you in this country and love the community that you have. It's better than what a lot of people got.